What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Case Digital. My name is Zach, and in today's video, we're answering the question of how to zip a folder in only one line in Python. If you watched a previous video that I had, I showed how to zip a folder in Python and how you can use it using zip file. Well, today I found another method that you can use to take all of this and put it down to one line. So without further ado, let's hop right in and start coding. All right, so in this video, instead of using the import of zip file and OS, we're simply going to use one import, which is a built-in Python import sh-util. And this is going to allow us to simply use one line to zip a folder in Python. And that folder we're going to use is going to be test zip. And I'll show you a couple other caveats that you'll probably want to watch out for. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, so the command that you want to use is simply going to be, and we're going to create some variables here too. So we'll say target zip folder is equal to /test zip, meaning when I run this script, there should be a folder called test zip within the same level, same directory as this script, and it should be able to zip it. And then all we're going to do is run the command sh-util.make archive. And then what we have to do, and then what we have to do here is the first thing we need to give it is the base name. So we don't want to give it any file extension. This is just going to be the name that we want our zip folder to be called. So I'm just going to say, we'll just say test archive. All right, and I don't know if that's spelled right. We'll just say test because I can't spell. And then we're just going to go in here. And then the next thing that we need to do is tell it the format that we want. And so in our case, we want a zip file. Now, again, if within make archive, you can see, if we look at the documentation, we see that the format, there's different ones that you can choose. We can choose a zip file. We can choose tar. We can choose gztar, bztar, or xztar. In our case, that's all we want. And then we have to say a comma. And then this is going to be the third thing is going to be essentially that root dir, the directory in which we want to, or the path to the directory in which we want to archive. So in our case, it's going to be this target zip folder path. Now, the nice thing about make archive too is it also returns out a string variable. So in that case, we can say output is equal to this, and then we can print, we'll make it an F string, output is equal to that. And then we'll see what it actually outputs. So if we go ahead and run this, barring that there's no errors, it should all run. And in our folder here, we should see that this test zip gets created into a zip folder named test. So go ahead and we'll go ahead and run this. So say Python how to zip folder in one line in Python. All right, and so it says output is equal to this long path, and we see test.zip. So if we go over and check it, we see that there is a test.zip. Now, test.zip contains this MD file. If I go in here, we see that. If I extract it, we just see that the MD file gets pulled out, and it's just testMD, not an additional folder, which is slightly different than what we had before. Oops, not rename. Let's remove that. All right, and we'll remove this. Now, let's talk about some caveats here. If I were to go and run this on a different folder or maybe I want to zip up this current directory, how would I run this, or what would I need to do to run this? So we'll go ahead and remove that, and we'll talk about that right now. All right, so if we want our target folder that we want to zip up to be this current directory right here with this subdirectory, what we need to do, essentially the idea would be, right, is you remove this and then you go ahead and rerun this. And if we run this, we see that it hangs. We see that it does not complete. And if I go ahead and hit Control-C, it'll kill it and stop the process. And we go in here and they see there's a test.zip. But the problem is it didn't zip everything. And in this case, the reason that it didn't, if I go ahead and if I sort by name, what you'll see here is as it's doing this, there's this test zip right here. And what's happening, I believe, if I remember right, if I try and extract this, this is a similar error that we found too with in my other video, where if you're trying to zip a folder, you don't want to be running a script and outputting it to that folder that it's trying to zip. Otherwise, it just sits there and hangs and doesn't really ever complete because it's trying to, I don't know if it's recursively trying to, zip and zip and zip, but it shouldn't really take that long if you just have a set of files. So in this case, this is not a very good, even though it did partially, create a zip file that we could extract some stuff out of, it didn't really create what we wanted. And so as a result, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to remove these. And then we're going to go, and this is kind of what I found, is I can say, you can either do one of two things. So you can say, we want to say /test. meaning put this one directory above. And so if we run this, like I can see ls here now, and I see that there is no, test.zip. And if I go ahead and now run this script, we see that it finishes, which it finishes quite fast, as you would think. If I do ls again, there is no zip file in here. And if I look again, there is no zip. And that's the reason is that // means go up one directory and save it there. So if I do ls .. we see that there is our zip right there. And we can come back over here and go into kind of this guy right here. And I'll make this big. Oh, wrong one. Just this whole directory. I went in the wrong directory. We'll just make this, rather than column view, we'll make this the icon view. There we go. So, and actually, if you want to go to detail view, I can show you with the test.zip. It got created today at 7:26 p.m. And then if we go ahead and if we extract this, we see that we now have a test file. And if we go in there, we view these as icons. This looks exactly, and if I sort this by name, this looks pretty similar, if not the exact same, which it should be, and we can even compare this. We can show a new Finder window, and we can go into developer, and then we're in our files folder, wherever that is, and do the alphabet. There we go. And then we change this to icons as well, and then we'll sort this by name, and it is. And so if we compare this, we see that common words, make it the same size, and just like that, we get the exact same folder. So just like that, we've zipped up our folder using one line. The other method that you can do is essentially say /files, and we can then say it would be the exact same thing, honestly. So I can say if I rerun this, what I need to do though, if I try and do this, is there's going to be no files directory in this. So if I'm in the files directory and I look, there's no other directory called files. So I have to actually go up cd ... which will move me up one directory. And I can say Python files, and then I can say how to zip folder in one line. And if I rerun this again, because I'm in this YouTube tutorial Python basics, you should see that I have overwritten test.py. And so again, we can double check this. I believe it's this one. And we can see test.py is now updated at 7:30 p.m. and not 7:26. So just like that, that is how you can zip up a folder in Python using one line, using this shutil, which you can just use the make archive, give it the name, give it the format, and then tell it, the directory you want it to zip up, and it'll go ahead and zip it up for you. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And until next time, keep on programming.